We're here. We've reached the final issue of DC Universe Decisions. It's a 4-part limited series back in 2008 that was their way of saying, oh, you think we talk about politics? We're going to talk about some politics. This series promised to tell you who your favorite superheroes, who they would be voting for. Are they Republican? Are they Democrat? We've learned that Wonder Woman is a Republican. We've learned that Bruce Wayne is an establishment Democrat. We've learned that Green Arrow is a Democrat. We've learned that Green Lantern is a Republican. We kind of knew that already. We've learned that Guy Gardner is a super Republican. And along the way, we've learned that Lady Blackhawk is pretty much, a bitch. Let's get into it. Everybody, this is Perch. It's DC Universe Decisions. It's the 4th issue of 4. In this comic, we've been revealing which political parties the various superheroes belong to. And this issue started out, or this comic started out with the Superman basically saying, look, we can't get involved in politics. It's wrong. It's going to cause trouble. But sure enough, due to the media being persistent, a little bit of fake news, slowly but surely, all the heroes got involved in being on one side or the other. Now, this comic uses 4 fictional candidates instead of Barack Obama, John McCain. We've got Davis Brewster and Martin Suarez on the Democrat side, and Catherine McClellan and Bob Ridgway from the Republican side. So basically, as we get into this comic, we also have learned that Jericho is basically taking over people's minds. So Jericho is snapped, turned bad, whatever. Well, he's been bad plenty, but anyway, he decides that he's going to kill off the candidates. He's been hopping from person to person to blow up bombs at these rallies, and he's just gotten into Hal Jordan, and that's bad news because Hal Jordan can blow things up with his ring really good. So basically, we pick up right there. Hal Jordan is out of control, controlled by Jericho. This is, by the way, by Judd Winnick and Bill Willingham. Pencils by Howard Porter. So Green Lantern immediately creates a bunch of cats to go eat people, I guess. But they're as the heroes desperately try and get people to safety, Zatanna tries to get people to stay calm, and Hal goes after Blood to go and basically kill off our candidate, which I think is Ridgway in this way. Senator Ridgway, I think, is who we've got here that is being hunted. It's a bit hard to tell. The appearances of these candidates seem to change from time to time. But anyway, Hal Jordan, because of his super amazing willpower, drives Jericho out of his body. And, basically Jericho passes out. They capture him, and Green Lantern's knocked out, but the threat is over. And so in the interrogation room, they are kind of getting to what's going on with Jericho. Jericho doesn't really know how he got there, what's going on. They brought in Minto to kind of help with all this. Minto, you can't help but just notice his costume is like a construction bike helmet over a skin suit. But anyway, so as they're thinking that, well, maybe we don't have the answer here because Jericho seems to be okay, his personality seems to shift. And he's like, I'm going to kill everyone, and I'm crazy. And basically, that there's a huge number of consciousnesses inside of Jericho. It's chaotic and it's wrong. And then by jumping from body to body, from mind to mind, Jericho's taken some of the personalities with him. They're all in there. It's a mess, and it's driven him mad. And the dominant personalities are the bad ones, and they want to kill. So this is bad news. They say, what are we going to do at Jericho now? It's like, well, we're going to take him back to Star Labs because Sanctuary had not been built yet. That would still be about 10 years later. So, they're deeply upset. So one of their own kind of went crazy, and then all the heroes threw their weight around in the election. We put a stink on the whole process, and the threat turns out it's within their own house. So Green Arrow agrees and points out that this isn't, they're supposed to do a bunch of follow-ups, but now the heroes are kind of, basically going to stay on the sidelines for the election. So Superman goes up to his wife Lois and says, I'd like to give a statement on air and on everything. So they go up to the roof of the Daily Planet, and Superman gives a bit of a speech. And he's going to give the let's make everything work out speech. So he says, it is my hope that the focus of the election will return to the issues and to the candidates who will address them. By the way, right now, I'd just like to point out this is 2008. And as you're seeing this in context of today's election, just saying, it's quite funny. So Superman says, look, I do definitely have a choice. I do have one of the officials that I think is the best and who can lead the nation better than anyone else. But Superman says, it would be unconscionable for me to share that with you, as I feel it has been wrong for any of those so-called for any of the people who battle injustice, we so-called heroes, to allow our opinions to be known on this important occasion. Whoever is elected to the highest office in the land should not think that they will not have our full support. A little double negative there. That our alliances are stronger with a defeated candidate. But Superman says we don't take sides. The battles we fight are larger than those of the political spectrum. It would pain me to think that the president wouldn't believe that he or she couldn't count on us in time of need. Superman points out, you understand, I've always understood that our mission is to protect not only this nation, but the world and the worlds beyond the stars. And therefore, we answer to no one, and therefore we do not govern. We are heroes and we serve. The privilege of choosing who will lead you is yours. You choose, you decide, and as always, we will protect. That was his big speech. So Superman basically does not tell Lois who he's going to vote for, kind of shames everybody in the process, and says, you decide. So, we then get to some clips of people going into the voting booths and casting their ballots and getting the voted sticker and everything else. Lois is still trying to kind of wheedle out who's Superman going to vote for. Lois points out that, hey, there's a huge number of people with write-in votes for Superman. And he's like, they're throwing away their votes. I don't even have a social security number. That's stupid. But at any rate, she continues to try and get it out of him, but he points out that it gives him pleasure to annoy her. And, it's a happy couple. And that when they walk in there, he's going to, vote, and she's going to vote, and, they're not going to say. And if she keeps pestering him, he's going to fly away. So with one final reminder to vote November 4th, our comic wraps up. And that was 4 issues, DC Decisions, a 4-part series that is intended to kind of tell you what parties the heroes belong to and who they were going to vote for. And it did that for most. Of course, we didn't get it out of Superman, but we did get a little lecture or statement there at the end about the importance of supporting our fellow man and woman, and that we can't let politics divide us. Wah, wah. Anyway, so that was Decisions. So, I did this for a reason. Obviously, we're coming up on an election, and that's all fine. This wasn't a good comic. I mean, it had some nice messages in there, but it was not. It was a goofy little stunt comic, and it didn't sell particularly well. It is interesting to look at in the context of people who point out that comics are so political these days, and it's like, well, this is kind of the case study of saying, granted this is 2008, not 88, but you can go back to comics in the 80s and see similar sentiments. The interesting thing about comics is they kind of maintained this line for many, many decades of both kind of the people involved in the comics, kind of the separation of the comic and the personalities in all of them. And then, the thing that was honorable and good was Superman's statement of, hey, we all need to work together in the end. That was considered the ultimate kind of heroic, brave statement that, our votes are a deeply personal thing and something we shouldn't be tossing around. And that was considered in 2008 to be the high moral stance, the thing that the right way to be, the Superman way to be. And in context here in 2020, the amount of people who throw around Superman's name to talk about why their candidate is better than the other candidates, or why, the worst one is why people who endorse the wrong candidate are evil, bad, should be shunned forever, and screw those people. That's probably the more troubling thing, is how in 12 years we've gone from Superman statements to be a little corny, but the right statements. In fact, corny because there's it's so obvious what he's saying is the right way to go. And in 2020, it's like, nope, Death to all the people who disagree. There you have it. Times change. Interesting little time capsule of a comic. There you have it. Did you read this comic? What'd you think about it? Like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications. Most importantly, thanks for listening. And I guess, well, not I guess, hey, go vote. Do what Superman tell you. Go vote.